Welcome to a short video about my poster, Teaching Librarians in Austria. My name is Michaela Zemanek and I am working at the Vienna University Library. The Association of College and Research Libraries defines a teaching librarian as a librarian who teaches in various contexts and for whom teaching may be all or part of their professional responsibilities. In 2019, I conducted a survey among teaching librarians in Austria. I wanted to investigate their attitudes, strengths and needs, and how conceptual developments of information literacy were received by teaching librarians in Austria, and how these developments have impacted their teaching practice. Now to the topics of the survey in more detail. Questions relating to attitudes examined the importance of instructional activity in the overall tasks of a teaching librarian, and which competencies and knowledge teaching librarians consider important for their instructional activities. They were also asked about their own competencies and knowledge. The subject of teaching practice addressed the contents, formats, didactics, target groups and the organizational settings of their instructions, and also the application of concepts of information literacy into their instructional practice. Finally, what are the needs and problems experienced with instructional activities? Let us take a look at the sample. About 46% of the librarians participating in the survey were employed at the university library, about 20% at the University of Applied Sciences, about 11% at the public library, about 10% at the special public library, and 9% at the federal state library. A small percentage came from other libraries. In my poster I can present only some of the results, which I find particularly interesting. Here you can see which competencies and which knowledge teaching librarians considered important for instructional activities. Interesting perhaps how high personal competencies ranked. This slide shows the concepts teaching librarians in Austria are familiar with. Referenzrahmen is a German framework referring to standards. I find the familiarity with the ACRL framework particularly interesting. As you can see here, the application of these concepts in instructional activities is significantly lower than the knowledge. Again, I want to highlight the ACRL framework. On this slide, you can see the contents of instructions. Ideally, teaching librarians not only foster library skills, but also information literacy. Explaining the use of the library, of course, ranked highest. Other aspects of information literacy, like evaluating information or using and creating information, are increasingly topics of instructions compared with previous investigations. Research support services are not only aimed at advanced students, but also at researchers. This is an overview of the problems and needs encountered with instructional activities. Lack of time is ranked highest among the problems. A lack of interest of library users or faculty for library courses was reported. Also, a need for vocational training was shown. As we have seen, teaching librarians in Austria are familiar with concepts and theories of information literacy, but aspects and ideas of these concepts are not very often applied in instructional activities. Among competencies and skills, the personal competencies were ranked rather high. This means that apart from further training, personal requirements are important. Further development of the contents of instruction towards the fostering of information literacy was shown. Lack of time was ranked highest among the problems. This is consistent with the results from other studies. A lack of interest of library users would require promotion of training courses. A demand for vocational training was shown. The results have implications for vocational training and for providing resources for teaching librarians. Thank you for your attention.